meant that we should live to the full, that we should sing and dance and be glad, that we should love and be loved in return. But in our ignorance, we have inhibited the action of God in our lives, and so we have cut ourselves off from the only power that can help us. How cool is that? See, sometimes we get confused about forgiveness, don't we? Well, I'm not going to forgive Mary because, she did. I'm not really not talking about Mary. I'm trying to pick a name of somebody who doesn't come here. I'm just, mad at so-and-so because they said this or did that or did the other thing. And the truth is, I have my expectations of reality. I have expectations of my husband, my children, my family. And if I get upset with them, really, whose business is that? It's mine. My feelings come from me. But when my feelings of resentment are there, can I feel the glory of God? Can I experience my oneness with life, with you, with God? Can I live in my divine truth? Can't happen. It cannot happen. So we ask ourselves, what is it that we want out of life? Do we want to live a life that's full and joyful? Do we want to live a life that's free and happy? Do we want to be what God created us to be, or do we want to mope and groan and gripe and complain for the rest of our lives? Just choices. He says in here, everything moves in circles. This is the way of life. And what we refuse to give, we refuse to accept. Have you ever wanted forgiveness from somebody? But then there's somebody else you're holding a judgment on that you haven't forgiven? And maybe the judgment is on yourself. We all do this. We look at our lives and we think we're stuck and we think we're blocked and we think God forgot all about us. But God is being you. God is right here, right now, being each one of us. It's not something out there that we can go find. It's right here. And because it's right here, all I have to do is let go of my perception of reality that somehow the world is bad and go within myself and remember that God is good when? All the time, absolutely, all the time. And so it's good right here, right now, right within me. I don't have to show up in a shiny new dress for God to love me. God is love. I am that love. You are that love. And when we begin to live in that place and we begin to look at the people around us as the same thing, we begin to live the life we were meant to live, which is a life of freedom and joy and celebration and gladness, and we sing and we dance and we have a blast. I was at a girlfriend's for dinner on Friday night. It was a girls' night. Me and her and our two daughters, who happened to be about the same age, and we were playing Trivial Pursuit 90s edition. I'm really bad at that, especially the techie stuff. I needed Chantel and Shem with me so I could win something. But all of a sudden we had a question, and the answer was the YMCA. Everybody remember that song? Yes. Well, the two girls started doing their little dance. It was hilarious, laughing and carrying on, and full of the spirit of joy and celebration. When was the last time you did that? When was the last time you stood up and went, YMCA? Sang it, danced it out? When did you do that last? You don't even remember, do you? When was the last time you just really, some of you are remembering, when was the last time you just really laughed at life instead of taking it so serious? When was the last time you let somebody off the hook? Because you've been let off the hook a couple times, haven't you? You've done something and somebody's gone, whatever, and let it go. Forgiveness is really about letting go, and you'll know if you've done it by how you feel when you next see that person or think of them. There will be nothing there. There'll be just, hey, how are you? Have you ever had that experience? You haven't seen somebody for a couple of years, and then you're scratching your head going, why weren't we seeing each other? Because I don't remember anymore. We want to forget the transgressions that we think have happened to us. We want to give up the guilt we feel because we think we've done something to someone else. We want to begin to live in this moment because, frankly, it is the only one we've got. And if we want to live with that divine presence of God as our reality, then we have to let go of all the rest of it. We've got to let it go. All our judgments, let them go. In the spiritual laws class that we were doing last week and this week, it was about practicing non-judgment. Who was able to achieve it? Not me. I'm just putting my hand up so you could put your hand up if you feel called to. Practicing non-judgment is like this incredible thing, right? It sounds like a really good idea. It even sounds like it would be easy. Till somebody cuts you off in traffic. The sales clerk doesn't say good morning. My favorite, when I say, oh, thank you very much, they go, no problem. That's, I have to let that one go. Because in my lifetime, I'm older than some of you, so in my lifetime, it was you're welcome was the standard, but now it's no problem. Yeah, I know it's no problem. They paid you to be here and serve me. Of course it's no problem. So I got to release my judgment so that I can be present. But I'll tell you, when somebody says to me, a person who's 15, 16, 18 says, you're welcome, I go, wow, you have really good manners. Thank you. And then they feel great and I feel great. But I need to do that all the time, right? We all need to do that all the time. But we are sinners, which, by the way, means we make mistakes. We're clear about that, right? To sin is to miss the mark. So we all miss the mark sometimes. And we can beat ourselves up and we can go into guilt and frustration and all that good stuff. Or we can sit back and go, I could do better. Let me learn from this. Let me choose to do something different. Let me choose to show up in a way that really rejoices in life and helps everyone to live to their fullest and to be all that they were meant to be. If I begin to see you as God looking back at me, do you think I'm going to be judging you harshly? No. Can we right now choose to forgive one person that you got a little something about? Can you do that now? That person that you've had a little something about for maybe, 20, 30 years? Are you ready to embrace them with love, to hold them in your heart, and to go, oh my gosh, this was just me projecting onto you my hurt, my pain, my frustration, my annoyance, and you know what? I'm ready to give that up because I'm willing to love me enough so that I can love you. You ready for that? Because, see, that's what happens. You see, I can't be happy and joyful and full of life if I'm holding resentment. It's not possible. If I'm fearful, if I'm frustrated, and believe me, I'm moving. I've been those things lately. I'm going through stuff going, why do we have all this stuff? But we give that up, or we can choose to give that up. And when we choose to give that up, don't we just feel a little bit better? And wouldn't we all like to feel happy? Yeah. Let's be happy for a minute. Let's look at life like all of the things that have happened in the past are irrelevant, because they are. And let's, in this moment, make a choice. And the choice is that I'm going to show up. I'm just going to show up as me. I'm not going to try to make you happy by being what you want me to be. I'm just going to be me. And I'm going to be happy being me. Can you all do that? Just be you. Be happy being you. Be happy if somebody doesn't like who you be. That's my good English. It's hard to believe it's my first language. We're on a journey here. There is no destination. And forgiveness really is that willingness to just be in love, to accept that God is right here and God is good. When? All the time. And so if God is good all the time, even what I'm looking at right now that might annoy me is still God and good. And even when I hear the news and it sounds like it's not good, I have to change my mind. Shutting it off helps. So just turn off your radios and listen to Shem instead of listening to the news. He usually has good stuff on there, listen to what he has to say on the radio, rather than, this growly thing that's happening all over the world. It's only happening all over the world because we believe in it. We believe that we can't change it or alter it, and so we give up. But each one of us has the power within us to live in a peaceful, positive, productive way. And we do that through forgiveness. It is the only way. If we cannot forgive, we cannot live freely. We cannot live with joy. We cannot truly experience who we were meant to be. We have to forgive. And how often do we need to do that? All the time, because every moment of every hour of every day we got something, right? Somebody cuts us off in traffic, somebody bumps us in the subway, somebody, drops something and it hits our toe, or we stub our toe and then we're mad at ourselves. It's ongoing, so every moment we have to just say, you know what? It isn't worth the price I have to pay. The price I have to pay to hold resentment, frustration, annoyance is expensive. Have you noticed how expensive it is? It ruins relationships. It ruins your life. It's expensive. I ain't that rich. I don't know about you, but I ain't that rich. I don't want to live like that. So I have to remind myself every day, every moment, every hour. No, you don't want to be going there. That'll be judging again. I met a beautiful man yesterday. Don't tell my husband. Just kidding. I did. I met this really, really wonderful man, and I was going into the dollar store to buy little pads for my puppy who sometimes has accidents. And there was this man outside collecting coins from people, or money, whatever people were willing to give. And I didn't have any. I had my debit card. And so I talked to him for a minute, said, "Good afternoon, how are you?" And I said, I don't have cash. Can I get you something in the store? Pop, chips, whatever. Can I grab you something? He said, "Cold water would be great." So I grabbed him a couple bottles of cold water. You'd think I'd given him, $1 million or something. But there was just a gentleness of his spirit and just this beautiful human being that maybe some people are judging as, loser out on the street begging for cash. That wasn't his energy at all. That is not at all how he showed up. He was sweet, and I felt really blessed to be able to speak with him for a couple of minutes. I felt honored that I could do something that might make his day better than what it was. And it reminded me that every day with every person we meet, we look at people and we think we know who they are. If that's God, I'll take it. We think we know who they are, right? And we make a judgment. We look at their hair or the way they're dressed or if they're thin or fat or tall or short, and we make these judgments. And our world is falling apart. Why? Because we're making judgments. Let's stop. And where does it begin? In each one of us. I get to choose the world I want to live in. I want to live in a world that is happy. I had a few outbursts of laughter lately. And it's that laughter when you start, tears are pouring down your face and you cannot make yourself stop no matter what. My husband's working on this Rhythm of the Nation tour, and the big yellow duck? So the big yellow duck is traveling with them, and everywhere they go, they have to reinflate the big yellow duck. So he had sent us a picture of that, and I went, "Well, that's funny," because it's kind of in its butt, the air thing. So I thought that was funny, but what made me lose it was when Pierre said, before they blow it up, the guy who's working on it sticks his head inside that hole to make sure everything is okay. And I lost it. I had tears pouring down my face. I said, "Did you get a picture of that?" He goes, "No." And I went, "Oh, too bad." But the picture was in my mind. I could not get it out. I must have laughed for 10 minutes. I was laughing so hard. Shouldn't have recorded part of it. It was just this insane laughter. But what was beautiful about it is it was just so freeing. If you had that laugh where afterwards you go, "Wow, I feel good." Right? It's like everything gets healed and moved and changed and altered because we had this image. I had this image. I don't know if you have it now, but I had it. And it was just this bizarre thing. But life is full of those little bizarre moments. Life is full of opportunities for us to laugh and to dance. When the girls were dancing last night, both of them are 12 years old and they're just being wingnuts, and it was great. And so I put on conga because, I like Gloria Estefan. I'm, of that age group. So I started dancing with them. And they're looking at me like I'm totally weird because I don't dance like them. But you know what? It was fun and it was silly. And I could only do it for a few minutes because I'm slightly older than they are. But what a joy. And when was the last time you just did something silly just because? We're so serious, aren't we? Because we're adults now. And because we're adults, we have to be serious. We can't just laugh and play. And if we do, then we judge ourselves for it, don't we? Or we feel guilty. I might have embarrassed myself. I did tell my daughter, "Don't you dare post that." Me laughing. But why would I even say that? Who cares? It's laughter. Shouldn't that be good? But we have these judgments, we have these guilty feelings, we have shame around certain things that are truly natural and honorable and good. And so we want to begin to look at our lives from a new perspective and look at each other from a new perspective. Begin to live with a sense of freedom and joy, forgiving each other. How many times, parents, speaking to parents, how many times has your little child done something that you were like, "Oh man, you got to stop doing that right now"? Why? Not because they were going to hurt themselves, but because we're feeling a little embarrassed. Hey, Marita, ever have a moment like that? Because they're doing something, or they decide they're going to dress in a certain way. There comes a point where, with some children anyway, where they feel they can wear certain things anywhere. And then as parents, we're going, "Oh man, everybody's going to judge it." If your child came here in a swimsuit, it's Sunday morning, it's church, we're supposed to be dressed a certain way, you'd probably feel a little, but why? Why do we do that? Why have we set up life to be challenging, difficult, hard, and miserable when we have the choice of the alternative? We have the choice to laugh. We have the choice to love each other. We have the ability to do these things. They're natural to us. We have the choice to perspire when it's hot. We are living, or we're putting in time. Forgiveness gives us freedom to just be who we are and to show up in a way that honors the life that God gave us to live. Each one of us has that little something that's special to us. In this particular essay in this book, Ernest Holmes wrote, "There's an instance in history which shows us the same sublime attitude as that of Jesus when Mahatma Gandhi was assassinated. His last act after receiving the mortal wound was to make the sign of forgiveness with his hands." Jesus and Gandhi, two of the great spiritual geniuses of history, each knew the necessity of the human mind to relieve itself of the burden of condemnation and each made the supreme sacrifice as an object lesson to all humanity that even God cannot give us what we refuse to accept. We must forgive. And we will look at certain areas of our lives and go, but I can't forgive that because that was really bad. But God is good and God is everywhere present, so are we telling the truth? It's time to reframe our thinking, to look at our perception of reality and look at the life we want to live and look at how we create beauty and joy instead of frustration and annoyance. How do we do that? It's time for us to sing and dance more and play more. Go talk to our neighbors. You know, the one who annoys you the most? Take them a cake. Or just go and say good morning. You know, sometimes we get into an elevator. Would it hurt to say good morning to the person in the elevator that's riding with us? Little kids do stuff like that, but we won't. Why? We don't connect with each other. And we're now living in a world where our electronics allow us to even be more separate. But it could be a connector. And we connect through love, and we connect by being less fearful. The reason we do this in the elevator is we're afraid of everybody else who's there. We're afraid to be seen, or we're afraid that if we say something, they might not respond to us nicely, or maybe they won't like us. Aww. All you got to do is like you. As long as you like you, all is well. If they don't like you, well, look what they missed. You're pretty awesome, so they missed out. Forgiveness is about letting go of all that stuff, the fear and the doubt and the guilt and the resentment, condemnation and judgment. And you know what? It isn't going to happen anytime soon, but if at the end of every day, when you go to bed, you just ask yourself, what is mine to forgive today? What have I done that may have been interpreted by someone else in such a way as to upset their day? Let me just release that. Let me forgive that. Let me forgive myself for being who I am and not being absolutely perfect in every moment. Let me forgive that, and let me remember that I am truly a divine, perfect, creative being, and that God is right here where I am and all is well. What if we were to do that? What if in the moment that we did something that we knew hurt somebody, if immediately we turned to them and went, wow, that was not my intention. Please forgive me. And before I ask you to forgive me, I will forgive myself. Because if you forgive me and I don't forgive me, I'm still in that place of pain and suffering. It is what it is. The great lesson we learn from this is that it is impossible for us to feel relief and release from self-condemnation while we bear condemnation toward others. And it doesn't matter what they did. What people do, people do. But how you respond to what they do, that's up to you. There was a couple of gentlemen on Oprah years ago. One of them, his son had been murdered. The other one, his son, was the murderer. And the two dads decided that no good could come from them hating each other because both of them had lost a son. And I thought, wow, now that takes profound forgiveness to be able to be with that man and to recognize that he is experiencing pain as well. We look at our lives and we decide what's right and wrong, and the truth is we don't know. We decide who is good and who is bad, and the truth is we don't know. We need to come into each day recognizing, I don't know what I don't know. And so I am going to instead walk in with an open heart. I'm going to let it be bare. Could it get hurt? I could get hurt, but more often than not, I get loved. So what are you seeking? Love? Happiness? Sense of freedom? Or misery and suffering? Because it is our choice. It is our choice, moment by moment, day by day. So there's a little song that I like that I'm sure I've sung here before, and I'm not a singer, okay? So remember that. And Shemroy can help me. But it reminds us of what it is that we truly need to do. It was written by Ricky Byers-Beckwith, and it's, I love myself so much that I can love you so much, so that you could love you so much that you could start loving me. Do you want to sing? Do you want to sing with me? Sure. He's going, sure, I don't know this song. It's really easy. Oh, I've got one, but you can stand up and use that one.
Oh, okay.
So it's, I love myself so much that I could love you so much, that you could love you so much, that you could start loving me. I love myself so much that I could love you so much, that you could love you so much, that you could start loving me. Get up and dance. Myself so much that I could love you so much, that you could love you so much, that you could start loving me. I love myself so much that I could love you so much, that you could love you so much, that you could start loving me. God bless you. Love, 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 always. Have a great day.
I was born by the river in a little tent, and oh, just like the river I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. I've had so much fun living, I'm not afraid to die, 'cause I know there's nothing up there way beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. Now I go to the movies and I go downtown. Somebody keep telling me, don't you hang around. It's been a long time coming, but I know change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. Now I go to my brother, yes I do. I say, brother, help me please. But he winds up knocking me back down on my knees. And there been times when I thought I wouldn't last for long. Now I know that I'm able to carry on. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. Now I go to my father, my mother, my brother, my sister. I say, brother, help me please. And they wind up, yes, they'll wind up knocking me back down on my knees. And there been times when I thought I wouldn't last for long. Now I know that I am able to carry on. It's been a long time coming, but I know change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will.